Hello everyone. So today we are going to have a chat with one of our stylists that we know for quite a bit, Altorrin. He does a lot of really amazing work and work with lifestyle for quite a bit. Talk a little more about his work and his approach today and ask him a couple of questions.
Hey,
Hello!
how are you?
Good. How are you? Oh, nice wall.
Oh my God, thank you. I'm not too orange, am I?
Yeah. I mean, that's like bright color, and it's very. So, well, let's talk about you today. So,
Uh,
if you can, I was trying to do a small introduction while
Okay, go ahead, do your
but if you can
introduction.
just introduce yourself first, like talk what you talk about you and like what you got accomplished, so people have an idea whoever didn't meet you yet.
I'm Altorrin Mcintyre. I'm a stylist here in New York City. Um, I'm a true storyteller and a true artist, and inspired by this amazing city called New York City.
Tell me about your creative process. How do you normally work with designers? What are you looking for? So, what's the magic of altering?
So it really depends on the project, but if we're speaking about an editorial per
Mm-hmm.
se, I gravitate more towards things that are bolder in nature,
Mm-hmm.
statement pieces. Um, I am not a minimalist. I
We
love
know that.
minimalism. I love it. I'm able to do it, but that's probably the hardest thing for me
Mm-hmm.
to do. I am from the world of Lori Goldstein, Patty Wilson. It needs to be bold. It needs to make a statement. It needs to be art. It needs to make you want to turn the page, and when you look at it, it should evoke emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And that is my process. When I go into a showroom, I literally will get chills when I see certain pieces. It's all about emotion for me. And
Mm-hmm.
it's the same way on set. When everything is harmonious, the light is right, the model's right, the photographer is right, the energy, the hair, the makeup, and it all comes together. Anyone who's worked with me, they know I literally get chills on set.
We
And I'm
know.
like, it's like a mini orgasm for me. It's just, it runs absolutely through me. It's incredible. It is absolutely incredible when it all works. It's not so
Yeah.
much fun when it doesn't work.
That's actually a passion of a true artist when you do get chills on the set, and it's pretty amazing when pieces start inspiring you.
Oh, it's 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 so hard to articulate in words what it feels like. But I can tell you physically, I get chills. And it
Yeah.
usually doesn't happen until, what happens is you do the first look. So any stylist that I work, and you do hearts if you agree with this. The first look you is your weakest look per se,
Mm-hmm.
because you want to save your good stuff.
Uh-huh.
I used to think, oh, the first look needs to be absolutely amazing and knock them out of their seats. No, because
Mm-hmm.
everyone is just warming up. The model is just warming up. You got to get into a groove. But once you get into that groove, then you start pulling out your pieces, and that's when those chills happen.
Yeah.
You want, yeah. So, yeah, Playhouse Magazine. Yes, you want to give the model a chance to warm. You have to, because I've done really amazing stuff on the first look, and you're like, oh, she's a little dead, or he's a little dead. But then they
Mm-hmm.
warm up, and everybody warms up. It's all about energy. It really is. It's
Mm-hmm.
all about energy on every part, not just me, but the makeup artist, the hairstylist. And I mean, I am so fortunate to work with some of the most incredible artists. I mean, it's a dream. It is literally a dream.
So how do you approach looking for new designers? I know that whenever you come to Flying Solo, you always ask us what's new, what's exciting, show me all the best stuff. But in general, so how do you approach it? How do you search for new talent? How
You
is
know,
the talent that is looking at you can contact you?
so I'm gonna share a little secret. I study a great deal in FIT's graduating class, Parsons graduating class. Like they really are the pulse of what is next.
Hmm.
And they are our next McQueens and Marc Jacobs, you know. So I take the time and I really comb out the talent that no one's even really heard of. You know, these are students that they don't even have enough money yet to even come to flying solo and be represented by you guys. They are really fresh. And
Hmm.
then I build around those pieces. You know, then I start going to the showrooms. But a lot of my work initially is done with those graduating classes from the design schools. We have some of the most amazing design students here in New York City. So why not utilize that?
In your work, you see so many names that weren't discovered yet. Your first Vogue, it's something that
Please.
you hold on forever. I don't think that anything compared with that feeling.
Elizabeth, I remember the day. I mean, it wasn't just that, it wasn't that long ago. You know, I'm still very much, I feel like a babe in this. You know, I
Hmm.
started styling, I moved to New York rather late.
Hmm.
So, you know, my first Vogue um, editorial maybe was a year and 2 years ago. Maybe I
Hmm.
would have to check. And I remember that morning waking up and having like all of these notifications, and
Hmm.
it scares you because you know I'm thinking something is wrong, and I'm like what has happened? I have missed calls, and you know it makes me nervous. And then I finally read a text message, and it's like you're featured in Vogue, and you know I'm sure I cried because I'm a big crybaby because I can remember moving to New York with less than lackluster pictures, and contacting showrooms, and they would either not email me back at all, or
Hmm.
they would say, contact me on your next project. And I knew my pictures just weren't up to par, but eventually someone gave me a chance. So you remember that. You
Yeah.
remember when you have to take your credit card or your last $1,000 and go and buy pieces and pray that the model does not destroy them because you have to take it
Yeah.
back so that you can eat, you know.
Yeah.
And I went through all of that. You know, I have been through the entire journey. And so I very much remember that first Vogue, um, just like it was yesterday. And you know, it's humbling. It really is because it was so unexpected. Because we didn't shoot that for Vogue. We shot it for a lookbook, and
Hmm.
then Vogue ended up seeing it, and then it ended up running. And I'm blessed.
Oh,
Blessed.
honestly, at the end of the day, we do fashion because we love it, and we
Right.
cannot imagine our lives to be anything else other than working it. It's tough. Like this industry is tough, and absolutely not as glamorous as those pictures in Vogue. But yes, yes, guys, like whoever wants to get in fashion, please understand it will not be
You
as
better
glamorous.
love it more than you almost love yourself. You have
Exactly.
to, I tell my assistants, you have to dream it. You have to love it, eat it. You have to shit. I mean, it has to be suffocating for you not to style. That's how brutal it is. And I mean, I don't want to cry,
Well,
but it's been so amazing. The people I've been able to work with, from Madonna,
mm-hmm.
the artist, it's just,
Yeah.
it's incredible. It's incredible. My life is so incredible, and it's exactly how I dreamt it. And most people cannot say that.
Yeah. That's completely true. And like, I mean, only with that type of passion you can actually get great results. I mean, otherwise, you're really in the wrong field if you don't have that emotional attachment to the whole thing. It's like, we all of us don't do it for money, really. I mean, yes, it's about
No.
being our well-being. However, we do it out of passion, and we really cannot imagine doing
Oh,
anything
I
else.
mean, I was broke for years. I mean, you know, I'm just now starting to make real money. You
Mm-hmm.
know, no, you don't do it for the money. You do it because you absolutely cannot live without it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I got an
Okay.
emotional space. How long have it
Jesus.
been, by the
This
way?
one, Elizabeth, you're like Oprah. What are you doing to me?
Oh, being Oprah, I guess. So how long have it been? Like, how long from the beginning when you took that $1,000 for, your first photo shoot and was praying that model will not destroy it till like now? How long have it been?
I'll say the journey really started. I had a girlfriend named Kiafa who's married to Michael Vick, and she was really the one that gave me that first taste of real styling. I was doing things here and there in Virginia, but it's Virginia, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But it was great practice and it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But she kind of took me under her wing and let me dress her for a few events. And I was laid off at the time. I had done a bunch of other careers that really had nothing to do with fashion. And she had kind of taken me under her wing and given me some opportunities to dress her. And one day, a buddy of mine who was actually already living in New York had said to me after I had made like a Facebook post of something I had done with her. He said to me, "Why aren't you in New York?"
Mm-hmm.
And I really could not think of a reason why I wasn't in New York. I
Mm-hmm.
had no master plan. I had no real savings. I just knew that I felt like I might be good enough to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I came. A friend of mine let me sleep on the couch. And I got job offers from Christian Dior and another boutique called Another Look. And Christian Dior, I had a base pay and my commission. Another Look was completely all commission.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, if I didn't sell a thing, I didn't make a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I took that job and worked
Mm-hmm.
my ass off. Worked my ass off. Ended up renting a room in Jersey, moving out of his place, renting a room in Jersey. Dated a guy for a little while, moved to Chelsea, and then just continued to work and eventually moved to Brooklyn,
Mm-hmm.
my own place. And I think all of that may have been maybe 6 years. I think it may be
Mm-hmm.
more. I lose count, but I know no one was paying me any attention in New York. Once I had started styling, it was about 3 years of me just kind of doing very lackluster, what I call lackluster work compared to what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
And I had some really good, harsh, brutal friends say, "You can do better than this."
Mm-hmm.
And they were right. And I just worked and worked and worked. And I eventually got to the point where I knew I had to take the reins of my art and be in control of everything from the concept to the hair to the makeup to the styling to the casting. I had to be more than a stylist for the work to look like what I felt like I truly was capable of.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did that, people began to notice me. And it wasn't until then. And I had to really get over not wanting to seem like a bitch, not wanting to seem like a control freak. I had to get over so many obstacles to really take control of my destiny and my art. And when I did that, Elizabeth, literally, after that first editorial of me art directing and styling, the floodgates opened. Everyone was like, this is amazing. Where have you been? And I'm like, I've been here for 3 years and no
Mm-hmm.
one paid me any attention.
Yeah.
And my world changed. It literally changed overnight. There was still a lot more work that needed to be done and still to be done, but I finally knew without a shadow of a doubt my true purpose and
Mm-hmm.
how to accomplish that. And that's when I began to blossom as a stylist.
Oh, that's very inspiring. I mean, you can hear it in your voice, and it's like truly touching, because I mean, that's how I feel about, like, why I'm here, where I'm here. And it does take it does take, guys, so much effort to be, and like so overcoming doubt, and self-doubting yourself constantly.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah,
So,
it's
so what happens after that is people begin to notice you.
yeah.
And then you realize people are noticing you. And then you begin to pack unnecessary pressure on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So what I began to do after having, several successful strings of editorials, I began to obsess about the work and topping myself. And that created a whole new layer of frustration. And what happened was I began to have panic attacks while I was on set. I would
Mm-hmm.
walk in and I would feel like everyone was waiting to see what I was going to pull out, what I was going to create, what I was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the pressure was so mounting that I would have to go outside and literally and calm
Yeah,
myself down.
that is
And
great.
I began to block my God-given gift to create because I was trying to be so meticulous and so controlling about every single aspect of it. I had forgotten how it was to just let go.
Yeah.
Let go and understand that this is a God-given gift that
Mm-hmm.
I have been gifted with, and that if I just relax, it will flow and it will do exactly what it needs to do. And I had to relearn that as I became more successful.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm no longer really blocking myself. If it's a really really big job, I get a little cuckoo, but I've been gifted with enough therapy and just practice to let it go and just trust in the process that the vision will come to life and I just have to allow it to work.
Yeah. Wow, you give me goosebumps, honestly, Altorrin. It's like it's such an inspiration. I mean, I knew your story. I mean, we obviously talk a lot, but it
Right.
just, like, I don't think that we ever get a chance to hear it from the beginning to the end.
Yeah. No, it's been tough, and it I'm now able to have assistants and interns, and things are so much easier. But I'm telling you, the beginning, I would
Yeah.
sit in my rented room in Jersey, furnished with like the worst furniture you can imagine,
Yeah.
and cry. My
Mhm.
the soles of my feet would be hurting. I mean, and I just would think like, what in the hell am I doing? What am I
Yeah.
doing? And somehow, even when I wanted to give up, something would happen to knock me right back on course. And I feel like that is the true meaning of knowing that you are born to do something. You're destined for it. Because even when I've tried to sabotage it myself, I've been put right back on course. with no doing of my own.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't, you know, I can't tell you how many times I've wanted to give up and then I get a phone call and it's like, you need to be at East 98th, blah, blah, blah. I can't tell you who the client is, but you need to be there. And I get there and I'm signing an NDA. I'm met by guards. And the last part of the NDA, the second to the last part of the NDA says boy toy. That rang a bell. And then the last part says Madonna Ciccone. And I'm like,
Oh my God.
what is happening here? And they're like, oh, you're about to go into a meeting with Madonna. And I'm just like, you know, it's just, that had nothing to do with, that is just the universe. And that is also, I feel like, a testament to New York, because those type of things only happen here. You have to be in the right place at the right time. And, you know, it was from someone who had known me from before I was a stylist and when I was doing like, you know, top tier events. You know, I was just trying to like make money and they remembered me and they blessed me with that opportunity. And so many of my accomplishments have come that way. You know, people just remembering me from when, you know, I was having to move chairs and, you know, just do things that had nothing to do with styling. Mm-hmm. And that I was willing to do it with as much vigor as I do styling, you know, because people are always watching you and they're watching how you do the grunt work. Yeah. And so many people don't want to do the grunt work. Mm-hmm. They want to do the glamorous work. But it's a process. It's a process.
Sure. I mean, what they see is the end result of all that, like struggles and nights when you cry to yourself, and it takes such a long journey to get there. And absolutely. Unless you're prepared to do that, please don't go to the fashion industry because it will be a lot of that. And if it's not fun for you, if you don't see like where it's all going and why you're doing it, if you don't hold on to your why, it just will be awful. So might as well do something else.
Absolutely. And it takes so many people to make that single image happen. I can't tell you, you know, I like call up my friends, like, can I use your apartment as a set? You know, can you help me carry these bags? Like, so many people have pitched in to create Altorrin and Altorrin the stylist. And, you know, if you guys are watching, I love you all. I remember you all. It's incredible. I've had an amazing support team, a support system, you know, from my family to my friends. It's been incredible. From the designers to the showrooms. I mean, it takes so many hands to make one image amazing.
Also the amount of preparation that it takes, like not only the team on the day off, but amount of coordination and finding the right team members and all of the creative energy like being put in one spot. And you know, there are sometimes creative will like have to argue about their vision. Absolutely. And then it all comes together in one beautiful image. It's actually
I drive the photographers crazy. I mean, I can remember
do you?
Oh my God. I mean, I sleep very little. If anyone knows me, they know that you can almost always get me on the phone. Mm-hmm. And I sleep maybe 4, maybe 5 hours a day. Mm-hmm. And I am constantly mood boarding, morphing the idea, building it. And some people, I guess some people appreciate it. I'm sure some photographers hate it. Because I need to sit down at the retouching. You know, I sit knee to knee with the retouchers, you know, because every part is so important. You can do amazing work and then it gets to the retoucher and then they can screw it up. And I've had that happen and that just, it hurts your heart. Yeah. Because you can't get that time back. Time is the only luxury we have in life. So you can't get that time back. So it's like, I am uber serious about my work. If you're looking for a stylist just to come in and just style and do whatever you want them to do, that's great, but that costs. But if it's an editorial and it's about me being creative, then I need to be you know, in all parts of it, in all aspects. Now, I don't believe in stepping on toes of other artists because it is a collaborative effort, but I do need to be involved.
Yeah.
You know, I am much more, again, than a stylist. And I've had people tell me, oh, I mean, I've never had a stylist do that, or, you know, or you're just the stylist.
No. No. Not just the stylist. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
A little bit of a practical advice for designers. When you search for brands, when you research them on Instagram, like trying to discover new talent, like you do with IT and persons. So what's the first no? Like you open someone on Instagram, is like, nope, not going to happen, never going to use them. So what are those for you?
Well, you know, I understand that we all start from somewhere. So it's not an initial no, but I'm going to tell you some things that will make it a lot easier for you to get stylists to pull your things. And one of those things is having clear pictures and having images other than just on Instagram. I understand we are in a new age where Instagram is a portfolio and it is your lookbook and all of these things. But when I am styling a shoot, I want to see that article of clothing without chaos behind it, without a lot of information as far as the environment. It needs to really be from a lookbook a transactional standpoint. You know, I don't really want to have to pull looking at an image that maybe had been used from another editorial. I don't get to really see the trueness of the garment.
Yeah.
So take the time to take pictures of your garment against the white wall, against a tan wall with no other information. It just makes it a lot easier for that stylist to imprint what it is they're trying to accomplish with your garment versus a designer saying, oh, it's on Instagram. I'm like, you know, you don't know what you're looking at. It's so crowded. You know, what other things are kind of like no-nos for me? Communication. You know, if I can take the time to answer an email within 24 hours or 48 hours at my worst, which almost never happens, so can you. It is the worst to have communication with a designer, confirm looks, and then you try to arrange a pickup and you can't get any confirmation on, are these items actually ready to be picked up? And you're calling and you're emailing and, you know, it's just, that's the last thing you want to deal with when you are in the midst of an editorial or a project. Communicate. If you're not able to do it, you have someone that can take the time to answer that text for you, answer that email for you. So yeah, communicate. Like that is, I know we're all artists and we're weirdos and oh my God, I don't want to answer the email. You have to, because you're now in business. You know, so all of that other stuff has to go by the wayside, and it's now time to get in business mode.
Okay, so yeah, people asking questions. What would you say to a young designer who is afraid to take a risk like you did?
Then you're not meant for it.
That was my answer. To take a risk, or, you know, get
if you're not willing to risk it, then this is not the life for you. Plain and simple.
Yeah, you just will not be happy.
Go do something else that's much safer. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that. We all can't be risk takers and, you know, on a humdick, just come to New York City and, you know, surf couch. Like, that's not for everyone, and I get it.
Yeah. So another question is, how did your mom influence you and support you in your journey?
So my mother, my mother is the first stylist I ever knew without knowing what a stylist was. She really I'm gonna cry again.
Aw.
Um, she gave me all of the fundamentals. I can remember just how she would just teach me how to dress. One of the biggest lessons that she taught me was that once you know the rules, you can break the rules. So once I knew the fashion rules, let's say for instance, fashion 101, if you're gonna do a heavy necklace, then you don't need to do heavy earrings. That's fashion 101. We all can agree on that. But once you know the rules, you can break the rules. So me breaking the rule would be I'm going to do a heavy necklace and I'm going to do enormous, intentionally big earrings. It's
Mm-hmm.
very intentional. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm intentionally breaking the rule. I want you to see that I'm breaking the rule. And those are the things she really taught me about styling. We would wake up on Saturday mornings. I would eat
Mm-hmm.
cereal, and then we would go thrifting. We would go antiquing. You know, I was being trained to shop, you
Mm-hmm.
know, without even knowing what was to come. I always thought I would be a choreographer, a dancer, a thespian. I had so many other interests at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she was actually refining my abilities. And you know, she jokes. She's my best friend. We talk every day, and she's quick to tell me, "I taught you how to dress." I'm the real stylist, and it's true. It is very true. She really gave me all those beginning tools, and I am almost certain when she was my age, had we known anything about a stylist, my mother would have been a stylist and would have been an amazing stylist. And she still is amazing, amazing aesthetic. And she gets it. She gets it.
Mm-hmm. That's an amazing story. I guess whoever ask about it knows you and your relationship with your mom, and it's pretty amazing that she influenced you this way. What if you're a designer and you're afraid, but everyone is pushing you out there because of your creativity? So it's slightly different question. So someone is pushing you, but you are personally afraid.
It's it's almost like helping a drug addict. You have to do it in your own time. If you're not ready to get clean, you're not going to be clean. If you're not ready to go forward, I'm the I'm the type of person, if I'm not going to do something and do it wholeheartedly and really go for it, I don't want to do it. If I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do it and kind of half-ass it, I'm not interested in it.
Yeah.
So I would say if you feel like you're not ready, you know, oftentimes I can say though, some people see things in you that you don't see in yourself, but you have to trust your gut. I trust my gut. My gut tells me anything. Anytime my brain is weird or my heart is weird, my gut is what breaks the tie for me. And that's what I follow. So follow your gut.
Yeah. So if it's not your dream, if it's someone else's dream for you, I like
Exactly.
no, it's not going to happen. Don't make
No,
it happen for them. Make it happen for yourself.
no.
That's the only. How was it shooting with such mega artists like Michelle and Dalek for Naha?
Oh, that was incredible. So let's see, how can I explain the Naha Awards? The Naha Awards are basically the Oscars for hairstylists.
Mm-hmm.
And because of my relationship with so many amazing hairstylists, I've always been aware of the Naha Awards, and it's a major deal in, I feel like, the art world and the hair world. And um, to be tapped to work with not only just amazing artists, but artists that have won awards year after year after year was absolutely incredible. And it was, I absolutely loved it. It's like when I am working with artists that are just incredible,
Mm-hmm.
it makes me work even harder. It makes me work even harder. And we're talking about true artistry when you talk about Michelle O'Connor and Dita Taylor and the whole In Style Salon group of artists. I mean, what they do with hair is completely unreal. It's unreal. And it just made me just bring my A game. And that's how I am whenever I work with, Dante Bradshaw. I can remember he's another amazing hairstylist. We will shoot until 2, 4 o'clock. I mean, we would just shoot and shoot and shoot because the energy is amazing. I am a person that I vibe off of the other artist.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm working with someone and they're not so great, it makes me kind of like, but when I'm working with someone that is like punishing, it makes me want to punish right along with them and work even harder. And that's why I'm always looking to work with bigger, better. It's about, that friendly competition in a way. Like if that hair is doing this, I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me manipulate this fabric this way. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's just like going back and forth, and it's a vibe. It's a total vibe. Work with artists that make you better. That
Yeah.
is the key.
Some more questions from our audience.
Okay.
How do you connect with you or flying solo for greater platform? Well, I guess the question is how do you connect with flying solo, and how do you connect with flying solo?
You guys, I want to take the time just to say thank you for being so nurturing.
Thank
It
you.
is it is so tough in New York to be a stylist, and you guys have really just created such a warm community for all of us. Really, really thank you. And I don't think any other showroom has really tapped into the hearts of stylists the way you guys have. So thank you so much. I
Thank
almost don't
you.
I can't think of one project that I've done where flying solo has not in some way, shape, or form been involved.
Oh, I'm
You
so
know,
glad to hear that. So, there are a couple more questions. What's your ultimate styling goal?
my ultimate styling goal to provoke emotion.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to look at my work and feel something to escape reality just for those few pages that you're turning.
That's actually a very powerful statement. Give me goosebumps. So another question is, what's the best lesson life has taught you?
To shut up and listen.
That's a good one for sure. A lot of people can use that.
Listen. Listen. You learn so much more by just listening.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Other question is, oh, I actually didn't know that. How was it working on American Horror Story? Didn't know that you were working on it. Oh my God.
Oh, that was incredible. So, I guess not this past season, but the season before this season, I was tapped to style a fashion show centered around um, American Horror Story, and
Mhm.
I flew out to LA. I worked with the costume department of American Horror Story with real, actual pieces from the show, and we created a show centered around the new up and coming season, and it was an incredible experience. Absolutely.
Are you looking for a stylist assistant?
I'm always taking applications. You can always email me at studio@altorrin.com.
Mm-hmm.
Send me your resume. I'm always looking, but right now I'm pretty staffed up.
Yeah. What are you looking for in a potential stylist assistant?
A hard worker, for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Someone who understands that you're here to make my life a little easier. And I'm here to give you knowledge to help you get to the next level.
Okay, so many questions. Oh my God. How did you like going to London? What was the experience like being abroad?
I felt a lightness. I'm going to be really candid.
Mm-hmm.
I felt a lightness overseas that you don't feel here in America as a Black man. I felt like the racial tension, and I'm not saying that there isn't racism in Europe, but I just felt like it wasn't the first thing that people saw, that
Mm-hmm.
I was Black. They saw that maybe I was an American, maybe I was an artist, and at least it felt to me that me being Black was the last thing that they saw. Well, I feel like here in America, that's the first thing people are aware of your race, to be really honest with you.
Yeah, it's kind of very unfortunate here. The other day, Grace Cuddington told stylists should forget about photography and focus on video and movie industry. What's your vision for the future for stylists? Do you agree, disagree?
So Grace Cunnington said that stylists should do what?
Forget photography and focus on video and movie industry.
I feel like, I mean, I love Grace Cunnington. She amazing. How dare I speak against her? But I think photography is very much essential and
Mm-hmm.
should not be cast aside for movies and whatever the other medium was. We very much need photography. Absolutely. Photography is very essential.
Okay. So what other celebrities would you like to work with?
Um, I would more so than like what celebrity, because I'm not like a big celebrity person in the sense of I would love to work with this person. I would like to just be at the table when we are talking about image for an up and coming, maybe starlet or recording artist. I really love the days when people took the time to do A&R and really develop an image.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you don't really see that much anymore. Everybody kind of looks the same. Everybody kind of sounds the same. You know, I would love to take it back to when people sat at a table and really collectively and collaborated on how to build our next Janet Jackson, our next Whitney Houston. Like these people, these images were very much cultivated and nurtured, and I think that's what we're missing. So it's more so about that for me, you know, just being at the creative table to really help mold an artist.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so someone else is asking, how long would you recommend someone to work as an intern?
Child, when you're tired of being told what to do,
Well,
you
it's
know
actually
what?
different people asking,
You know,
but yeah, I guess a lot of people who you inspire to
you
be a
know,
stylist are watching today.
I feel like, let me tell you something. You're always learning. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I have a friend of mine. I don't know if Chad is in here from the Style Monsters, but Chad can call me up. He's an amazing stylist. He's been in the industry for for a very long time, very seasoned. And if he calls me and says, "Hey, Altorrin, can you assist me?" If
Mm-hmm.
I have the time, I have no qualms about it whatsoever, and vice versa. And so it's, you know, I feel like hey Chad, you know when it's time for you to progress. I was actually told I really didn't spend a lot of time with um, a key stylist, Tanya Gill. I worked under her. You know, we did Jane Fonda and Olivia Munn, and you know, we worked on the Oscars and Vanity Fair. But she very early let me know that go, like it's time. You know, it was the business aspects of things that I was missing, and that's what I
Mm-hmm.
needed to kind of get from her. But once I learned how to communicate with showrooms, do pull letters, invoicing, I was sent on my way because the styling, I pretty much, I had a pretty good handle on that at the time. So, you know, and usually if you're with a good stylist, they are constantly pushing you. I'm telling you guys, if you're with a stylist that wants to keep you as an assistant, that's not the stylist you want to assist. You want to assist a stylist that is willing to help you and nurture you and push you to the next level. That's what you want. And you know, that's how I would gauge that.
The last question for today: what are your favorite styling essentials? So, what's your styling must?
I cannot do a shoot without my paper clips.
Okay.
My paper clips, my safety pins. My styling kit has threads, needles, pieces of fabric. I mean, I rig up all kinds of stuff. If you guys ever, you see the image here, but if you ever saw what was going on in the back, you would think it was like a crazy person. Like I'm taping, I'm restructuring with pins and everything. I mean, I have to have those paper clips, the big paper clips. Like they are essential to me. I cannot do a job without them. Yeah.
Well, that's a really good tip. Who wants to intern for you? I guess.
Elizabeth, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Altorrin.
A
Thank
great
you,
time.
guys. If you have more questions to Altorrin,
Just
please
send them to
message him directly.
you can send them to my Instagram at Altorrin at Instagram or whatever it is.